Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. So, man alive. The fair bit happened yesterday, right? So we know aside from the eclipse. Um, so Donald Trump went to an appeals court, and that was completely off my radar. I did not realize that there was going to be an appeal hearing on the 25th. I only had in my head that he had to come up with that $454 million. So, as we all know, that has now been reduced to $175 million, which he says he absolutely has, and it's going to just be no problem. He has to pay that within 10 days. So we're going to assume that he's going to do that. He also found out that his hush money trial is scheduled to start. I can't remember now if it's April 12th or the 15th, but it's starting with jury selection. So I'm going to channel this because it's just frankly easier and faster right now. And I want to see how he's doing. I want to see what the energy around that hush money trial looks like. Is it actually going to start, or is there going to be some other ridiculous reason for a delay? Take a peek at the 175, see if he manages to get that paid on time. And just sort of overall how he's doing. Like, one of the big things is that he's going to be in court from the middle of April, probably at least till, I'm guessing, the middle of May, maybe. That's prime campaigning time. So how's he going to juggle those two? So let's just take a quick peek and find out. Before I get there, thank you very, very much to my new subscribers. Welcome to Soulprint, to my establishment. Thank you so much for hanging in there. Victoria's house is slowly but surely getting pulled together, so I think I'm back on track. Not today, because we're a little scattered still around here, but probably in one of the other videos for this week, there's going to be a short little video of Atlas swimming. So the doggy daycare that he goes to when we need to, get him out of our hair he needs to socialize with other animals, they actually have a built-in, like an indoor swimming pool for the dogs. And so I've got a little bit of short video of Atlas swimming. So that's going to get attached to one of the videos coming up this week. Alrighty, here we go. Let's take a peek. Don't forget to put your questions in the comment section below, and the amazing Joyce is going to make sure they all get to me so that we can get Pendulum Friday out on time. Here we go. So let's just tap in and see how the Donald is doing. So one of the things that we haven't heard about that's kind of interesting is that it was not only the Trump Corporation that was fined, right? Eric was fined, Weisselberg was fined, Don Jr., Eric, and Trump. So all the focus has been on that. So I'm wondering how those other fines are getting taken care of, and if those things have been gotten paid, because there hasn't been any reporting on that. And what I'm getting is that yes, arrangements have been made, or that money has been paid in the small, because it was like 1,000 or 1,000,000. Somebody was fined 2 million. It wasn't huge amounts of money, given how much the big fee was. So, how's Donald coping with all this, Spirit? Okay, so actually he he really thought that he was going to not. He actually thought when he went into court this morning with regards to the $454 million that case, he actually thought that it was just going to be reversed, and he was going to be said, told, you poor victim, you have been so abused. Let's just make this go away. So he was a little disturbed or perturbed, if you will, that that didn't quite go exactly the way he wanted to. But there is no question. There's like sort of a sense of relief that the amount has been reduced. Now, the way I kind of understand it is it's been reduced by about 50%. And I heard from sort of legal scholars that that's actually not that unusual. That happens in really, really big judgment cases. So maybe it's not preferential treatment for him. But there's definitely sort of a sense of like relief because while $175 million is not chicken feed, it's somehow it feels more manageable to him. It was really frightening for him to feel that properties were going to just simply be snatched away from him. And, that's not to say that that's not ultimately going to happen to some degree or another, but for right now, there is a sense of relief. Spirit, is he going to be able to come up with the 175? And I'm hearing a yes. So that is going to put that money on hold. The appeal process will go forward. Now, the reality is by the time the appeals go through and everything is sorted out, if he doesn't win, kind of with the interest and stuff, it's probably going to take it back up to around that 450 million range anyways. So, I guess he saved some interest along the way, right? But, so let's just find out, is the appeal on that going to go in his favor? Is an appeal court going to find that, in fact, no, he did not engage in all of these sort of shady business practices? And yeah, that is not going to go his way. So all he has done is delayed the inevitable. But that, as we know, is the game plan with him, right? It's delay, 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 because he's absolutely convinced he's going to win the presidency, and then he's just going to snap his fingers and make everything go away. He is not paying attention to anything that he does not want to hear. And one of the things he does not want to hear is that somewhere in the vicinity of about 20% of Republicans are not voting for him in these primaries. Or whatever these runoff things that are going on right now. He's, Joe Biden's getting his numbers in the 90s plus, and, Trump's losing about 20% of the people he should be, so 75, 80%, I guess, are voting for him. The 20, apparently, 20, the 20, about 10% are saying, no way in hell, I'm voting for him ever. And there's two then options. Some of them are saying, I'm just going to close my nose and vote for Biden. And the others are saying, I'm not going to vote at all. This is ridiculous. So, but Trump's not hearing that, or he's not processing it. He doesn't understand what that means. Because, of course, for him, he has to win. And anything that gets told to him, anything that sounds like you're not going to win or winning looks a little dicey, he completely ignores. He doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't acknowledge it, which is part of the reason, as his mental confusion increases, why he sounds so sincerely and genuinely incredulous about the fact that things aren't going his way, because mentally he is not processing anything he doesn't want to hear, just anything at all he doesn't want to hear. Now, there's also some interesting energy. The hush money case, that they're saying that's going ahead, on time, on schedule. And the judge for that, I think his name is Mershon, but that could be wrong. He's sort of done. He's not putting up with any nonsense. And this case, that hush money case, there could actually end up being like jail time connected to that. This is not sort of a civil, let's slap your hand and make you pay money. There's actually some significant penalties that could be imposed on him, including incarceration. So that is a bit of concern. And it sounds like that judge is not likely to let him play the victim and have his press conferences all over the place. If I'm not mistaken, that's in federal court, and the rules are considerably more strict in terms of what he can and cannot get away with. The judge was not buying the arguments. His lawyers were basically saying that despite the fact that there was all this evidence, and the judge said, you have no evidence. You're making very serious accusations against the prosecutors, but you have no backup. So the nonsense that to some degree they've been allowed to get away with, it sounds like someone's going to put the brakes on that. How's he going to manage that? How is he going to handle, court and campaigning? Um, and it looks as if he's going to try to juggle. So he'll be kind of in court during the day, and then it feels like there's going to be rallies or gatherings, or they're telling me, I'm seeing a lot of TV, like one-on-one interviews. So instead of him doing a rally, he's going to do, some sort of, I don't know, Fox News or whoever. They're going to be doing interviews to keep him sort of in front of the public, right? Keep getting his message out about how he's being, picked on and abused, and nobody understands his pain and sorrow. So we can anticipate a lot of that. Now, one of the things, though, that's going to be interesting, as sort of you look at April and May in particular, there's going to be a slight shift. People, this is the thing, okay? We've been listening and talking about and thinking about and hearing about Trump for 365 days, 24 hours a day for too many years now to even add up, okay? And people are starting to get very, very weary of it. And these court cases are amplifying that, right? Because it just becomes aggravating to keep on listening to him calling everybody a disgrace, and this shouldn't have happened, and I'm the victim, and I'm being persecuted. Honest to God, apparently he posted something. Somebody had sent him comparing him to Jesus, and how he was being persecuted in the weeks leading up to Easter, and wasn't that somehow the same thing? I mean, come on. Um, what you're going to see is, and this is the thing, on the one hand, it's like a train wreck or a car accident. You don't want to look, but you kind of feel you have to, or and in part because he's perceived as such a danger. I mean, he's a danger to the United States. He's a danger to national security. He's a danger to the rest of the world. And so even if you don't want to, you sort of find yourself kind of focusing on him. But one of the things that you're going to notice in the next couple of months is that the media, and I'm talking, not Fox, you're going to start seeing a bit more balance in terms of what else is going on, right? What else is happening? What's Biden doing? What's Russia doing? What's Ukraine doing? What's going on in Israel? There's going to be a bit more balance, almost as if they're going to tone down it's like the frequency or the amount that we're going to, it's not like he's going to disappear. Don't get excited. But it feels like instead of, 25 minutes of every hour long broadcast being focused on Trump, maybe they're going to knock it down to like 15 minutes, which frankly, at least gives 10 extra minutes for other stuff that's going on in the world. And it would be very nice if some of that other stuff really focused on what Joe Biden was doing and what was going on there. So that's kind of what I'm seeing for that. Now, as Trump moves towards his birthday, which I understand is in June, and apparently there's some chatter about things going on around Trump in the month of June. So, Spirit, what do you want to tell me about that? Okay, so yeah, as we move towards his month of birth, it feels like there's going to be increased uh, pressure or tension around him. That's actually what I'm getting is a greater emphasis actually on his health. So I'm wondering, does that kind of correspond to the wrapping up of the hush money case? Is there is there movement on some of the other cases that look like the next case to fall in line is going to actually fall into line? There's it feels almost as if the Supreme Court is going to hand down their ruling with regards to that whole presidential immunity thing. It's feeling like that somehow I'm getting told like the end of May into June. It feels like that's also going to intensify pressure around him. So what I'm getting is increased concern about his physical, mental health. It feels like there could be some sort of a health episode somewhere around the month of June for him. There's they've moved on. Sorry, Spirit has moved on, and they're talking about the whole attack at Russia in Russia, and devastating. And of course, we send our love and thoughts and our prayers and our light to the people who lost their lives and to their families who are suffering that loss. But let's focus on Putin and what's going on there. It feels like so ISIS has taken responsibility and Spirit is sort of saying, yes, okay. But it feels as if there's more to the story than that. I'm not suggesting that that Putin was in any way behind this, but what I'm kind of getting is there was chatter about it. It didn't come as a shock. Let me say it that way. Apparently, it did not come as a shock to Putin that this sort of attack happened and that was carried out. And there is some part of him that felt that that was to his advantage. So, and of course, this is for entertainment purposes only. It's my opinion and the Spirit's opinion, but it feels as if it wasn't quite the shock that people thought it was, and that his outrage was perhaps a little bit of performance art. Because of course his immediate response was to direct the attention back to how Ukraine had something to do with this, and those horrible people who did this were trying to escape to Ukraine, and he just dragged the country of Ukraine in. That had nothing to do with anything. They're kind of busy trying to save their own country there. So there's that kind of energy going on out there. And so that is a little bit of a concern. I also see, as I'm looking at Putin, I again am getting sort of a decline with him in terms of his... I'm not getting health, but I'm getting safety. So there's kind of that going. I'm also hearing that there's going to be talk again about body doubles and that kind of thing when it comes to Putin. It feels like there's going to be sort of more controversy going on about that. And so I guess we'll see how that unfolds in the next days and weeks and months. And okay, and this is unusual for me. I do not tend to talk about the royal family, but I guess we're kind of doing a catch-up in current events on this video. So what I'm being told is that King Charles is in for a rough, bumpy road ahead of him. Part of it seems to be it's like a depletion of bodily energy is how I'm feeling it. It feels, his energy feels sort of very weak. and kind of like he's not building up strength or recovering as quickly as one would hope or is as expected. What he needs to do is continue at a very slow recovery pace, but it feels as if there's going to be some push for him to sort of get out in public and make it all look like he's fine. It feels like that could almost create a problem. I'm seeing relapse, but I'm not necessarily getting relapse of cancer as much as I'm getting just a relapse of weakened energy. Now, as far as Princess Catherine of Wales, otherwise known as Kate, it's not a great situation, but I have to tell you, energetically, I really am seeing her rebounding. I'm not seeing any significant decline in her health. I am seeing a sort of a slow and steady recovery. The chemo is going to take a lot out of her, but it feels as if, she is going to make that recovery. I also want to tell you that Prince William seems to be really, really feeling the pressure and the impact. So he is aware on some sort of subconscious level that his dad is not going to rule as king for eons and eons. I mean, William's aware of the fact that King Charles's reign is going to be quite short. And so not only is he trying to deal with the fact that pressure is coming at him, and the fact that his wife is not doing well. I mean, she's dealing with her own frightening health concerns, and they have 3 young kids. And so he's got a lot of pressure on him, but it feels as if he slowly but surely is just going to absorb and carry on. It's like very much like a one foot in front of the other sort of energy with him. But I see by the time we're well into summer, like July, August, it feels very, very much like you're going to once again see William and Catherine together. They're going to be out and about. There's going to be, she's going to look like she is recovering or at the final stages of recovering from a significant illness, but she's not going to look like she's getting worse. It's going to look like she's in recovery. And so that's what I kind of know about that. And the final thing that they seem to want to talk about, 2 things. One, you're going to continue to see Biden's numbers increase, his poll numbers. And again, as you see the media talking more about what's going on in the world besides Trump, Biden is going to absorb some of that attention. And that's going to be a really, really good thing. Okay, so his numbers are going to increase, his donations, his campaign contributions are going to continue to rise and rise and rise while Trump's continue to go downhill. Republicans just by and large are saying, holy hell, we're not contributing money to the RNC because everything's getting directed to Trump. And I don't really want to pay his legal fees. I'm trying to keep Republicans in power or elect my favorite Republican or whatever it is. And that money's not going to be there. Also, Lisa Murkowski is saying that she can no longer support Trump. I would not be surprised to see her I'm not sure if she's going to sort of retire from politics or she is going to reposition herself as an independent. But she is, put her name on the list of Republicans who are abandoning ship. And the final thing that I'm being told is that Netanyahu is going to continue to annoy and upset the world. He has dug his heels in, and he is another one. I don't know. It seems to be something that's going on with some of these men in high power. They just don't seem to actually be absorbing the reality of the situations around them. Not Putin, not Trump, and apparently not him. It feels like he is, kind of, what's that expression? Cutting off his nose to spite his face. It's like he's so focused on being this strong, independent, and I'm doing what I have to do, and that's all there is to it, and torpedoes be damned attitude, and he's not picking up the fact that more and more people are becoming more and more agitated and upset and concerned about what's going on over there and what's not being done over there. So that's sort of where we're at. So I guess this really was an update on current events kind of video. I will be back this week and do some minis, and we'll take a look at whatever's kind of current in the news and see what's going on. But that's where we're at right now. So thank you very, very much for being here. For those of you who have gotten to the end of this video, I thank you very much for your attention and your time. And I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Until then, take care and be well. Bye-bye for now.